Hey guys, how are you today? It's another beautiful episode of My Name is Toby. Only that today, that episode or the title of the podcast would change a bit. So it's going to be Our Name is Toby because for the first time in the history of this podcast, I am the host and Toby is the guest. Yes, she's seated on the hot seat right now. Right. I hope you are ready for this. Hey Toby, how are you today?
I'm fine. I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing. I'm fine. Fine and full of laughter. That's it.
Right, let's start this way. I want to start with
Mm,
your name. I don't know if you know this, but in Yoruba,
mhm.
Toby means, I think, to be big or to be great. What's your full name and how did you
Yeah.
come about using Toby as a form of is it Monica or what?
Yeah, about that, I know the Yoruba thing because my name is already Toby, so anybody you meet, they're like, "Oh, Omo Yoruba," or "Oh," so like because of that people always think I'm Yoruba. I just had to know the meaning of Toby in Yoruba. Actually, my Igbo name is Tobechukwu. Tobechukwu means okay. Before I say what Tobechukwu means, I'm very particular about my name. So Tobechukwu in Igbo means keep praising God. That's what it means. Some people might just think of it off of their head and be like, Tobechuku means praise God. I'm like, not exactly. That's why I say I'm very particular about the meanings of my name. Tochuku, you would hear Tochuku everywhere. Tochuku is actually praise God. But Tobechuku, that be there is like a continuous process. It means keep praising God, like keep doing it. Maybe if you're Tochuku, you can just praise God once and forget it. I don't know. But for Tobechuku, it means keep praising God. So it's like a continuous process. It's something you never stop doing. A typical Tobechuku would be called Tobe to shorten it. But right from when I was small, my mom insisted that my name would not be shortened to the regular Tobe, that it would be Toby. And the Toby would be spelled Toby. I don't know why she did that. I actually thought maybe she just wants this thing where, oh, her child will not like just be a regular name. She wants something different and all that. I love to think so that was what she was thinking when she decided, okay, Toby. So I just grew up like that. People around calling me Toby because my mom insisted my name would be Toby. And though officially, maybe in school, I would write the full name Toby Chukuba around, I was just Toby like that. Growing up, I noticed Toby was a name of its own. It was actually a name. So I just had to adopt it. So right now, Toby is both the short form for Toby Chuku and an English name for me. So yeah, that's it.
Now let's talk about growing up. How was growing up for you? If we go like say 20 years backward and we want to kind of see Toby as a very little girl growing up to become a teenager. How was that process like? Talk to me about your background and the kind of family you come from.
Growing up, you said going back 20 years ago. If we go back 20 years in time, I'll be like 2 to 3 years. I don't know. I cannot remember anything that happened around then. My earliest memory of myself was, I think, when I was around 4, 5, because I'm older than my brother with 5 years. So it's around that period. That's just the only thing I remember when my brother was born and all that, when my mom was pregnant. So I don't remember anything earlier than that. So that's about that. Growing up was it was just there. Really, it was just there. I did not know what was happening in the world. I just know I was existing. And for some reasons, I'm in this family where I don't know, I just stay there. I have an elder sister. My brother is about to be born. I have to go to school every day. School doesn't seem so bad. So my teachers they would always beat me because I'm left-handed. So they would change me to my right hand. I could not write with it. I'll go back to left hand. They would beat living daylight out on me. My letters, nothing would happen. They would still keep beating me. And until one day, I think she came to the school as herself and threatened everybody, threatened the owner of the school that she's going to shut down the school, blah, blah. It was so funny. I know she cannot do anything. I mean, but then the audacity she was using to talk, even they were afraid. The owner of the school, like, please leave her alone. If she want to use her leg to right, leave her. I beg, my school is important to me. So that kind of thing. So I think that's the only thing, significant thing that like happened. I know I had like this whole thing with being left-handed. Then my brother was born. So I said, life was just that thing that was happening, nothing extra. But my brother was that extra thing that, would I say, came into our lives. When he was born, I think everything changed. He was this lively child. He would always make jokes. He would make people laugh. Then he became the new last born. He was our only son. Still is the only son, Sha. So people would always want to gravitate towards him. He would like make us laugh in our family. I don't think like anything made us laugh before my brother was born. So it was just this breath of fresh air. People would be like, and he's very light skinned. All of us in our house were dark. My brother is light skinned. So there was just something special about him. And it also made us like feel something extra in our family at the point. I entered secondary school at the age of school, and it was a boarding school. Those that go to command that stop us so they should do with him or her, then she'll be. I was the best child then. I don't used to give wala. So why? I don't know. If it's something I did, I mean, tell me I did this thing, I will say sorry. But anyway, it was just my mom's way. She was being who she was. She was like, oh, she likes command, that the discipline and all that, and then the soldiers, it would be easier for her to send us to a military school, knowing that yes, soldiers are all about discipline. And if they are flogging us, yes, she sent us to a place where they are going to flog us herself than sending us to a missionary school, because that was where most of our friends went to missionary schools, because she thought, she thought church people are not always loving people, that at their core, all these church people, the missionaries, that at their core, they have this wickedness in them. So it would not make sense to her that she takes you to a missionary school where like you think, because they have something to do with Christianity, they preach love and all that, but then they tend to maltreat your child, that she cannot understand it. So let her not even do it. It makes sense if like it's a soldier that is maltreating her child, and she would understand it.
Wow. All right. So I think before I ask about your family, in terms of your parents, I would like to know, you mentioned something interesting, which is that when you were growing up, some teachers were kind of heckling you because you were using left hand. And so I'm kind of curious, as you grew,
very left-handed.
right. So as you grew up and went to secondary school, went to the university, were there moments where you felt or someone challenging you or surprised, or just some weird moment because you were left-handed, or probably you went to the market? Had there been any issues with your left hand that you feel like, people really do not understand what this left hand is in this kind of climate society?
It's still there. It's always there. And yeah, one time, we're still small then, were we small? I think I was already in secondary school, but maybe junior secondary. So I think around 12, 13. I cannot remember right now. So we went to Lagos for holidays. And my mom was really excited about this Aswani market, that, it's a Tuesday market. It opens only on Tuesdays or something. So it was a Tuesday. She was like, let's go and check out the place. So we go to the market, and she's like, everybody just look around. She was checking out one side of the market. Me and my sister went to this part where they sell clothes and stuff, and we're checking out some clothes. So the thing is, my mom said she refused to give us money. She was like, we're not buying anything. We just came to look around. So just enter a shop, do as if, just whatever, maybe anything. After looking at it, you leave. You don't necessarily have to buy stuff. So like we're doing that. So this particular clothing shop, we entered there, and we're just looking at the clothing, the Ankara, the materials and stuff. When we're done, and I think I was doing most of the holding and touching with my left hand, I guess. I don't know. So the woman, when we're not leaving, she was like, what do we mean? That we just came here to look at our things, we're not buying anything? We're like, we're coming back, we're not really buying now. She was like, next time, if we know that we're not going to buy things from our shop, that me especially, I should stop touching her clothes with my left hand. I'm like, yo, So she was not as pained that maybe she did not make money. She was not paid, maybe it paid now, but it's not paying her as much as, oh, it is left hand they used to touch your clothes or whatever it is you're selling. So you have something against the left hand for some reasons, you know. And it keeps happening. I remember one time it was Okada I entered, you know. And then coming down from the Okada, I want to give this man his money. Such I'm using left hand, I will not collect it. I'm like, this man, collect your money. Saying I must change it to my right hand. I'm like, you're not ready. It's like maybe you have too much money. You don't want to make money. Collect it. It says it's not taking. Ha. So what will me and this man do now? And I was not having it. I was not ready to be nice. I'm usually not nice, when it comes to these issues of being left-handed, because I think why I'm usually not nice is because when I was still in primary school and I was helpless, my mom would always come to fight. So she would either come and maybe quarrel with the teachers or come and threaten the perpetrator or something like that. So she was always there to be defensive, to attack, to not be nice about like fighting for me. So when I was able to handle myself, I started fighting too. Like I would not calm down to tell you, oh, no, I would fight you. I would say things to you that are not nice, and I would do things too. So the bike man, we're there exchanging words, and I threw his money on the ground. I'm like, pick your money if you like. Maybe you don't want to take it from my hand, then take it from the ground, something like that. So that happened, and it doesn't make sense to me what the problem with being left-handed is. I've tried to ask people questions. Okay, come, let's talk. What is it? What is the left hand? They'll say something like, "Oh, that it's not good." Okay, fine. But give me something to work with. Give me a reason. Why is it not good? Nobody says anything. Or they'll say, "Oh, it's not. It's against the culture or tradition." Something like that. Okay, fine, it is against our culture as Nigerians or as anybody we are. Okay, but why? What is it? Like, what did the culture say is the problem with it? Nobody says anything. They say, nothing, that's just the way it is. And I'm like, no, that's not good enough for me. So if there's no concrete reason apart from that's just the way it is, then I do not send you people, really. And my mom would start doing these things where even right from when I was in primary school, when I received those treatments from my teachers, she would start telling me about, she would not try to reverse the case and start giving me examples of great people that are left-handed. She'd say, oh, Barack Obama is left-handed, Oprah Winfrey is left-handed, things like that, you being left-handed means you're special. You're going to be as maybe great or whatever as these people, see what they've achieved. So maybe you're going to achieve something great too. And I appreciated the fact that she wanted to make me feel good and stuff, but I didn't want to be special, really. I just wanted to be normal. Like, I even till now, I don't think being left-handed makes you special. When people do not go antagonistic about the whole being left-handed thing, they'll not be like, oh, you're using left hand, maybe you must write fast, you must like have very beautiful handwriting. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. Anybody can have good handwriting, whether they're left-handed or right. It doesn't mean anything special. I do not want to be, I just want to be normal. They say, oh, how teach me how to write with the left. I say, I don't know. The way you're using your right hand, that's why I'm using my left. There's nothing extra about it. It is just okay. I just want it to be normal, stuff like that. I think the most recent one, but I think the one I remember it was during NYSC. So it was that I was in church and it was time for offering. And I go and give offering like a normal human being. As I was going back to my seat, one man calls me back. He's like, why did I use my left hand and give the offering? I'm like, God, why? So after the church service, so that it was like I should go to my seat first. So after the church service, he now comes. Did I go to him or he went to me? I don't know, but we now started talking again. He was not telling me why did I do that. I'm like, oh, okay, fine, I'm left-handed, but even if I was not left-handed, what does it matter? I was like, no, that first of all, who allowed me to be left-handed? That didn't they change me to my right hand when I was small? That being left-handed means you're evil. That the Bible says, God said, those that, what did he even say? The sheep will be at his right hand, the goat will be at his left hand, and the left hand is the evil hand if you're left. I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing this thing again. Some people think maybe you get used to it. There's no way you can get used to people telling you that there's something wrong with you just because of a particular hand. But it is what it is. It never goes away till tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh God.
That's crazy. That's really crazy. You see, when you've been talking or when you were answering previous questions, you kept talking about your mom to the extent that I
Yeah.
began to wonder what your relationship is with, number one, your parents. Are you close to your parents growing up? And then what kind of parents were your parents? Were they people that allow you figure things out, or were they more strict? And then the next question, or as an addition to that question, would be like, do you have a different relationship with your mom than you have with your dad, if you know what I mean?
I get what you mean. This question, it's not going to have a straightforward answer. In fact, I'm planning when I resume like my podcast episodes, it's going to be like an episode on its own, trying to figure out my relationship with both parents. You beat me to it. That this is a nice question. I mean, I was already planning to put it there. It's one of the things I've not talked about in my podcast, but I mean, we might as well talk about it now. Now, during I mean, like you said, you hear me talk about my mom a lot. And when we were growing up, it was as if it was only my mom that was there, you know. I would say my dad was pretty absent. Not absent physically. He's always around, he would go to work, come back at night, whatever. But that was just that about that. If I remember my dad vividly as like how he was when we were growing up, he just wake up in the morning, he would take just coffee. After taking his coffee, and he doesn't speak much, at least as at then take his coffee and go to work, and that's it. He leaves early, then comes back at night around 10 p.m. 11 p.m. self. So sometimes we may have slept. If we're still awake, it's just to greet him and that's it. And he would eat his dinner and go to sleep. Nothing, there was no maybe have conversations with him and all that. He doesn't talk much. Greet him in the morning, greet him at night, and that's that about that, So when it comes to everything about growing up, I would say my mom literally raised us. So if anyhow we turned out, it's whatever we're molded into as adults. It was my mom that did the whole molding, you know. So when I say where the whole thing with being left-handed, yes, it was my mom that fought. She was the one that wrote the letters. But the thing now is that even as my mom was the present one and my dad was the absent one, I preferred my dad because the present one was the troublesome one. Like she was present in your life to give you trouble. And I'm like, yo, I prefer this quiet one. I don't know, maybe I do not know him that much, but at least he doesn't trouble my life, that kind of thing. So my mom, I used to say that I feared my mom more than I fear God. People say, oh, God is this to fear. Well, what is there to fear about God? I don't know. He's just there in heaven, minding his business. But this one that is called my mother that is here with me on earth, I don't know if she does not kill me, nothing will kill me again in this life. Like I told you, she was the one that sent us off to command. She was strict. Like she wanted us like to have this strict discipline upbringing, and everything is strict. But as I was saying, thinking about it, it's also funny right now because she was a strict one. So even as she was there, but I did not like her too much because I mean, like she was troubling my life, always making me scared and all that. My dad was not there, but I would rather he's not there instead of like to be present and be the bad cop at home. So I think that was the relationship. But growing up, it has changed a little bit. Now that we're adults, my mom is no longer like always shouting and like trying to put us in place and all that. My dad is now like trying to be more open and having conversations, and it's still very confusing because like you didn't know him as that growing up. So now that he now wants to be like maybe part of. So when my dad sends me on an errand, it's strange because I'm like, yo, but you never sent us on errands when we're growing up. So what's this whole thing? So I'm still trying to adjust, but it is what it is, really. Yeah.
Right. So, but when you talk about mom probably giving you hard time, I was thinking in my head, but you weren't always around. So I figured out, or I'm thinking you were in a boarding school. So the only time you would be at home would be on holidays. And you gained admission immediately because I already know that about you. And so you were
Yeah.
already in the university. So you probably did not really spend much time at home, at least in your teenage age, adolescence, and adulthood. So the question that
Yeah.
now comes to my mind is that, or is it that Toby herself is some sort of a rebel? Kind of.
I don't used to agree. I don't know. I will never agree that maybe some sort of a rebel. Maybe when people I tell my story, or maybe they even encounter me and hear me talk, they're like, maybe you're some sort of a rebel. But I don't used to agree, really. Maybe at best I would agree that I'm opinionated, but the thing is, whatever I would come to that, but whatever approach to upbringing my mom had nothing to do with me being a rebel or anything. Like I said, I was a good child. If there was anything I was good at, like I knew how to be good. And I think that's what also helped me in school. I knew I had mastered the art of being good. I knew how to be a good child. I knew how to be a good student to make good grades. I knew how to be good. Like it's even now that I'm now like even maybe bringing out that rebel that people are thinking I am and being like, oh, I don't want to be this anymore. Maybe I want to like be this person that doesn't care. But if it was then, I knew how to be good. Maybe it was some people pretense, maybe that was it, but I had mastered it. I was not a bad child. I was not a rebellious child, you know. So it was just who my mom is. It was just her way of bringing us up, and that was basically what it was. So maybe now that coming into the real world and people are really not used to somebody like being opinionated and saying, I know what I want and I'm going for what I want. And they're like, oh, you're such a rebel. Like, why don't you just accept what people want for you? Or why don't you just accept what is acceptable? But I'm like, oh, I don't want it. And there's nothing that can be done about it.
Yeah, I think like what I would just say is that for me, I use the word rebel kind of loosely, to mean
Yeah.
someone who is more opinionated and would want to push for his way. But let's
Yeah.
talk about boarding school, which is very interesting to me because boarding school is different into different people. Number one, people have their fears. Sometimes parents that sending my child to boarding school, will the child turn well? And sometimes it's not the school, it's just the environment, it's just the individual, it's just the person. So talk to me, how was boarding school for you? Did you click easily? Did you have issues? Was there things you had to overcome? Would you send your kids to boarding school? Let me know.
Boarding school. Boarding school was that thing like I said, I didn't have control over that one. I mean, I could have control over how much food I wanted to eat and maybe bargaining with my parents, oh, I've eaten, I'm not full, I don't want to eat again. But like going to boarding school or something, like you don't have choice, that kind of thing. So and like how I treat every other thing that I don't have control over. I just stay there and allow life to happen. Boarding school was nice. I made friends, some of them I still talk to till now. And I mean, you know what they say, that secondary school friends are the realest. They're the ones that saw you when you were like maybe hungry and like I had nothing and all that. And you guys like really hustled together, to go through life in that teenage years. So it was good. I made friends. I was still a good student. Like I said, I knew how to be good. So I still made my grades. I still aced my I still aced my exams and all that. Like I said, I knew how to be good. When I was graduating from the school, I was given the award of best behaved student. So it's surprising that like I kept up. I don't know if to call it an act, but it was just what it was. So I know in my mind that I'm not the best. Maybe I'm not the best behavior. I know that there are better people than me there, you know. Even me, I did not expect they were going to give it to me. I knew better people. There was one girl, Onome, there were quiet people, Valerie, there were other more brilliant people, Chidera, Stephanie, and all that. But I mean, maybe the authorities would see me and observe. Maybe when I'm like misbehaving, I knew how to like do it in a place where they won't see. And when it's time to behave good, I'll like put it all in their faces. Look at me, I'm a good person. you know, like I said, I went to a military school. And it can be tough staying with the soldiers. And I don't really want to go into details because it's too much. Even like trying to remember everything. Maybe some nights there's something called blanket punishment that even if you are so good that you didn't serve an individual punishment, there's no way you would escape blanket punishment. Blanket punishment is like general punishment. So one person does something, everybody goes in for it. Or maybe a whole hostel is being punished, a whole class. So there's nothing you can do, even though individually you are innocent. I mean, you would always go in for it. In the middle of the night, a soldier can just come to your hostel, order everybody to come outside in the cold and start pouring you guys water and telling you to roll on the floor. Experiences like that. You could punishments were plenty. The food, when I was in junior secondary, food used to be terrible. But as they changed management and commandant and all that, the newer ones came with better food. So we started eating good. Towards the end of my stay in school, I became dining prefect, which meant I had food at my disposal. I mean, food wasn't my problem. I was the food prefect there. So secondary school was good. It was everything it could be. I I still boast with the fact that you know how among soldiers the most common punishment is frog jump. Like you, even if they see you anywhere, barracks at all, frog jump and all that. But me that stayed with soldiers for 6 years, I did not do frog jump for one day. In fact, the day I would have frog jumped was a senior student that wanted to punish me to frog jump, but I refused to do it anyway. And sure, it caused wahala, but it caused a little bit of wahala, but I still ended up not frog jumping. So I've never done frog jump in my life, or when I stayed with soldiers for 6 years. So secondary school was everything it could be. It was good. I went to a military school. I survived, and yeah, here I am.
Right. But before I let you off the hook on that question, sometimes when a child is being sent to um, a boarding school, there are kind of two things, or probably many things, but two things that come to my mind right now is that number one, what you mentioned at the end of your answer, bullying. So
Yeah.
seniors try to bully you as a younger student. And then the second thing is negative influence. So because you
Mm.
guys you are not with your parents, so probably this kind of issue where they say pornography and the rest of that, just influence that are bad
Mm.
in the amidst teenagers and young people. So the question to you now would be that, did you experience any of these things in terms of seniors bullying you, or you were so good at evading these sort of things because obviously you know how to be a good student, or were there
Yeah.
issues where really shook you during your secondary school, and how were you able to navigate it if there were?
Bullying, yes. I mean, I knew how to be a good student. Being a good student is just for maybe the authorities. Your seniors did not send you. Seniors did not send you. So it's just maybe to your teachers and all that, the authorities, the seniors, no, no. There's no way you would escape bullying. So bullying, yes, I was bullied a lot. But what can I say? It was like the one I mentioned. This senior insisted that I was going to frog, and I did nothing. What was even the story? It was after night prep. So after night prep, we do night devotion. We gather in front of the hostel and pray. After praying, then we go to sleep. So I don't nobody used to send them. It's just seniors trying to do senior things. So they would not count for you that they would count 1 to 10 for you to run from your class to the fellowship ground. If you don't get there before the count of 10, you would start frog jumping. And I did not have strength to Abia even ran, but I could not make it till the count of 10. Whatever happened, Aisha did not make it. So at that point, after she counted 10, she's like, all of you there, frog jump. And I'm like, this frog. But so the thing with frog jump is that, like, I cannot frog jump. It is not a thing of maybe refusing to frog jump because I do not want to. So even if I wanted to, I cannot do it. I don't know why. My leg does not know how to do that frog jump thing. My body has not figured it out. So I cannot do it really. So I can do any other punishment they give in that school, but the whole frog jump thing, I don't know how to like squat and then move while squatting. So when she's like, if I say I thought it's to frog jump, she said, "What is it?" So maybe those that say, "Oh, they cannot do a certain punishment," maybe they are sick, they have chest pain or something like that, or medical record. Say, "Are you sick?" I say, "No." Chest pain, no. Anything, no. So what is it? I say I cannot frog jump. So me saying I cannot frog jump, it's coming from this place of you're stubborn, you just don't want to do it. But they are not understanding that even if I say I love to do this, I cannot. My body cannot do it. So to them, it was like this person is proving stubborn. Oh, this girl, I'm going to show her. She's like she doesn't. So like the whole SS3 gathered. They're like this guy. I said I cannot do it. So I just refused. So refusing meant you don't want to do it, but I literally could not do it. I remember one time I almost frog jumped from. It was a soldier. I was supposed to be in class, but I was not in class. So they're like, "Oh, what are you doing outside? Frog jump to your class." And I go, "Oh, sir, can I crawl?" That I don't want to frog, can I crawl? So it's like, okay, you want to crawl, I crawl. So now the soldiers, in their mind, they think crawling is a more difficult punishment than frog jumping because you're going to like scrape your knees against like stones and rocks and all that, and you're going to injure. They're like, oh, you're even choosing something more difficult for yourself. So I mean, why not go do it, whatever. So anytime a soldier tells me to frog jump and I say, I want to crawl, they don't hesitate to tell me, okay, fine, enjoy yourself, whatever. So now these seniors just insist, oh, I should do the frog jump thing, and I refuse. They punished me more. I think they beat me that night. Then the morning they said I should sweep somewhere, like the whole school compound. I should sweep. It was not possible, so I did not even bother trying at all. So, but I think later the hostel mistress came to save me, like to begged on my behalf, and they left me. So that's like just one out of the many bullyings, when they'll tell you to fetch their water and do things that whatever, just not because like they're in a higher class, they just want you to do things for them. That happened. And I mean that was part of the life. So I think I survived through that. But then the second one you talked about bad influence. I did not have any bad influence in school. And I can beat my chest to say that. Maybe because my school was a relatively new school. When I entered, I was a fourth set. So we're all new and nothing bad has really started happening in the school. Even if it has started, I was always like on a league of my own. My friends were like people like me. So we sure did not send what we maybe things that would all those bad things like you said pornography that would interest people, it did not interest us, so that those that it was influencing that knew where to go that it will influence them, like I had no idea. Me and my friends, we had no idea. Like our own was just to read books and maybe gist and all that. Saturdays and Sundays, like we were always in hostels, apart from going to church on Sundays and maybe Saturdays going to the dining to eat. We're in hostel most of the time. So most people stay in hostel playing and disting and doing things. So yeah, I did not have any bad influence, but bullying, I had my own fair share of bullying, and that's that.